reason I'm super excited is because he heads AI innovation at UPS.
Correct.
It's a global 50. You are responsible for entrepreneurship, intrapreneurship internally.
Exactly, yeah.
Tell us what that looks like. How are you using AI in UPS and what's going on there?
Pretty interesting question. Let me kind of give a little snapshot of what a UPS is and some context to the organization, so that will help you understand what does it take to be an entrepreneur inside a very large organization.
Yeah.
So we are 118-year-old company. So you can imagine the kind of legacy we have, not only in terms of technology, but in terms of people and processes. We are a global org existing in 200 countries. Now just imagine there are a lot of requirements, local requirements of data, etc. So how diversified we are. And then as an organization, we have evolved over this century with a lot of local decision making. Now, in such a complex organization, it becomes a hugely challenging task to kind of get everyone on the same page and align to the vision you are trying to drive and make it work. But that's the fun part of the job as well, because every challenge is a fun for me. So, yeah.
So tell us how you got there, and then let's talk about the vision again. Like, how did you start your career? You've been an executive in telecommunication companies for a long time.
Exactly. So I was with eBay actually.
Okay.
And I was, again, a global head of product management there, building their authenticity guarantee platform. And one of these...
Authenticity guarantee platform, okay.
That's right. I mean, I can talk about it later if you ask me. So
this is all your consumers that you're trying to authenticate and...
Yeah, so all these luxury products, like you buy a Rolex watch or Hermes bag or Louis Vuitton bag and all that stuff. So there was no technology available to support that whole operation. So I was building that, and so we really successfully built that. So again, for a legacy company like UPS, it's not very common to hire external candidates in senior roles. So this probably guy spotted me, and then he made his recruiter reach out, and then he told me, "Oh, we have got a role open up. Like to consider you." And I was never thought of working for UPS,
Yeah.
And then it happened just like, and the more I got into conversation, the more I spoke to the leadership, I realized that, there is a humongous opportunity to drive innovation. That's what I've been doing for the last 25 years. I said, that's a great place to be, and I landed up with a role.
Yeah, so what does that look like when you're saying you're going to use AI in UPS? Is it like LLMs responding to human beings on where their packages are, or what are you using AI for internally?
Tons of things, actually. Think of, so I was speaking to some of the guys here, while grabbing the coffee, and nice pizza. Thank you for that.
You're
and
welcome.
One of our most talked about and a case study is about our drivers never take a left turn. They always take a right turn. So think of our AI journey goes back about 10, 15 years, where we have been using, classical AI for our route optimization. Now, if you put AI into two different large buckets, and there are many actually, but for this simplifying, I'm trying to put them into two large. One is on the operational side. Now think of all the packages moving through our 6,000 warehouses and 150,000 trucks and 300 planes, and every package goes through multiple hubs. Right when it's picked up at your doorstep, we have to make sure that it reaches in time, it reaches intact, that it's not damaged. So there is a whole lot of operational AI or kind of physical AI, as I call it, which is in play, whether it's sorting it out warehouses or kind of loading them in our trucks and then making it move across the lanes and final delivery. The larger part, which currently last couple of years I am personally focused, is on the business side of the AI. Now, let me give one small example to explain, where we have very successfully used, and you probably wrote in your introduction also, where we have actually generated, a lot of additional revenues. So the pricing is an extremely complex in a logistic industry, where a lot of you guys, if you are not from the logistics industry, don't understand that. So think of our pricing as a different cells, like 0 to 150, and I'm talking only small package business, as we internally, as industry calls it. So 0 to 150 pounds, and then zone 1 to zone 8. That makes it almost 1,000 matrices for one single product. And think of it, we have a couple of hundred products and then a few hundred accessorials, as we call. These are additional charges which are levied on this. Now, how do you kind of optimize pricing for your customers? And when I say these customers, these are all B2B, really large customer. Amazon being one of one of our largest. So think of any big retailer or any big manufacturer. Think of any company: Google, Apple, Tesla, Amazon, Walmart, Costco. Just name it, and all of these are our customers. Now, each of these are very large customers, and they want a very very specific pricing for them, which is a win for them as well as win for us. And mind it, it's a extremely operations heavy, cost heavy business, so margins are really wafer thins, so we have to make sure that we have optimized our pricing in such a way that the customer wins as well as we also win. And that's where we have deployed whole gamut of AIs, like from a classical AI in terms of forecasting, modeling, to pricing analytics, and now as we speak, some agentic AI to help our pricing experts to complex analytics on pricing and come out with a proposal. So this is an example by itself, but there are many of them. Now, I was talking about pricing. Now, pricing itself is not enough. Like, pricing is complex, but equally complex is our product portfolio. Now, as an end consumer, when we talk of a logistic product, we know only a couple of things. Oh, it will go by air or by surface or next day delivery or 3-day delivery. But for us, it's like, as I said, hundreds of products, couple of hundreds, not few hundreds of accessories. Now, for our sales guy, which are in thousands around the globe, forget globe, let's stick to US for now.
Yeah.
Even in US, there are thousands. Now, this sales guy, if a customer, whether it's a renewal customer or a new customer which is coming in, just for him to get an insight into what is the best product fit or what is the best product mix fit for a given customer is a humongous task. And these sales guys are not PhD in mathematics or PhD in computer science to really understand a lot of complex algorithms and permutations, combinations. Now, we are using AI to help them actually, study what we call internally the shipping profile of the customer. So we take historical data, we take the opportunity data, what is likely to happen, and then help our sales guys actually identify what kind of product portfolio would be helpful for them to really propose it to their customers. So, and I can keep talking, like as we speak, I have
Interesting. It's a lot of
100 plus use
forecasting.
cases.
Yeah. Amazing. And so do you have tell us about the org structure. How do you have an AI empowered team? Do you like have them in different parts of the organization on a consultative basis, or are you just upskilling the entire engineering and product teams? How are you going about that?
Great question. Actually, for a complex org like UPS, it is still evolving.
Yeah.
Sometimes early last year, what we came up with something called a Gen AI task force, internal task force, which I'm leading the task force as well. So we started with that, and then we started reaching out to our different cross-functional groups as to what could be their ask from an AI perspective, or just from an automation perspective. For the moment, let's not talk AI, just from an automation perspective. Then, of course, as I was talking about hundreds of use cases, we got a whole laundry list of things we need to do. Now, this was a task force. We started with a task force, and then we realized that two things here. One is on the engineering side of the things, on the business side of the things. Now, each cross-functional team, we realized that we have to make one kind of a champion within that team, because that's a domain which he understands best, and then put a couple of people around that and make them as more like subject matter experts, or as I call them, business champions, who can actually work directly with this task force to make sure that we are kind of working across different cross-functional groups. Similarly, within engineering team as well, we had like this small little bespoke, hub and spoke kind of a model, where we'd put different engineering teams, different smaller teams who are working on the AI. So it is still evolving. I wouldn't say that we are perfect in the way what we are doing things, but we are learning every day, and we are evolving ourselves.
Very cool. These are the kind of case studies you read in the Harvard Business Reviews, right? It's fascinating to think of a massive logistics company adopting AI and then making organizational changes. So, how are you measuring success? What are your metrics?
If I have to list 20 metrics, 1 to 20, first 10 is ROI, 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 ROI. Everything
But
else.
how do you measure ROI?
So interesting, yeah. I mean, we do assign a specific number against each of the little feature. Let's even not talk about big initiative, but even if someone is asking a little feature to be done, we put it back. We work very closely with the business teams to make sure that they understand, what does it mean for us, and then we try to assign a return either in terms of revenue or profitability, that being with the top one, and then of course in terms of time saved and the pain saved, or lesser customer complaints, etc. So we put certain very specific numbers, and that also helps. In last session, someone was asking about prioritization to Michael. I think for us, it becomes easier for us to prioritize because everything is associated with a number.
Right, it's true. And then where does your organization fit? Is it under the CIO's, or is it CTO, or is it like completely under the CEO and driving innovation? Where do you belong?
Oh, I wish I had a very specific answer for this. As I said, we are evolving right now. See, ever since I joined, actually, UPS was 2.5 years back, and we have like top level renaming of top level,
Yeah.
C level. So currently, we do not have a chief marketing officer as we speak. Last year, we had a chief marketing officer.
Huh.
So this year, the name is like Chief Commercial and Strategy Officer. Now, this person is responsible for essentially driving innovation, business, both put together. So currently, we don't have a CIO, by the way.
And that person's also responsible for revenues,
Yeah, he is, of
right?
course. Yeah,
So you're aligned with revenue track because your metrics are all aligned with revenues as well.
absolutely, absolutely.
Wow. So how is that built? Do you have like a dashboard? What products are you using to track it? What does your day look like? Like you get up in the morning, are you looking at a dashboard of all the metrics saying these features we shipped and this is how much we
Correct, correct.
saved?
So yeah, I have got a dashboard of all my initiatives, and then really it's a classical tracking. Like let's say Jira kind of a platform which is kind of tracking to me where are we, what are those red flags, what are those issues that has to be resolved, what is my GTM strategy on that when I'm going to GTM. So it's a complete dashboard which is shared across the org, and not across the org. Let me stand corrected, with the respective cross-functional interested
Right, right.
teams, not kind of openly across the org, so to say, and we track it that way.
Interesting. Tell us some of the products you're using. Are you using OpenAI internally and how are you managing that?
I am not too sure how much I can talk about it, but
You know.
I can give you a strategic direction as to.
Yeah.
So we are using most of the leading products, like for instance, ServiceNow, Salesforce, all of them.
Are
Just
those
that,
leading products? They're not bleeding edge though. They're like stable elephants, I'd say, not dinosaurs
yeah,
yet, right?
things are changing pretty
Sturdy
fast, and
horses.
we have to be tuned to see that. And in terms of like infrastructure, we are working with all the three large hyperscalers. So
Hyperscalers.
yeah.
What does it take for a startup to get a chance at a UPS?
Good question, but it's not pretty simple. I would say it's not difficult either, but it's not definitely not simple because of, as I in the beginning of my conversation I said, we are a 118-year-old legacy company with a lot of bureaucracy and kind of red tapeism as well inside, in a good way, because for a company of our size, it's really important to make sure. For us, the most thing is that I can't afford to lose a single package which is supposed to be delivered at your doorstep, his doorstep, his doorstep. So we have to keep our core value proposition intact, and thereby we are a little rigid in terms of an organization. But for a startup with the right value proposition, and if you're able to hit the right guy, actually, and not necessarily I'm the one, so so if you are able to hit the right guy, I think there is a way in.
There's a chance.
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit more. So, I would have thought that some point UPS was losing packages. And I got actually lost one of my packages, is what my doctor claims. And I'm like, UPS cannot be the problem. You must be the problem. Which is funny because I'm interviewing you this week and I was backing UPS up. And I don't even pay UPS. The receiver was paying for it, and I was saying UPS could not have lost it. You guys failed, right? That's how much we've come to rely on UPS. So, what was the change that happened, and what were the technology implementations that enabled it? That UPS became like this lifeblood for all of us. It's like we breathe air like that. If you want to sell a package, there's a guarantee it'll get delivered, right? Like TCP/IP, I guess, right? So, how did that happen?
So yeah, this is where we have mastered the art of operations. No one can match us and beat us in that area. Like people can beat us in pricing, people can even beat us in technology today. Our competitors are doing day in and day out, trying to
Yeah.
either beat us in pricing. Having said that, one interesting thing I like to share. Still, by choice, we are the most expensive carrier, and there is a reason for that, because we are the most reliable as well. So our operations, we have mastered that art of operations over a century now, and that's not a small time. That's a big legacy advantage we have.
So tell us more about where would UPS go next? How do you innovate as head of innovation? What would happen next? I mean, UPS is already so massive, it's taken over. Is it just at this point just surviving that same profitability rate? Or what does it look like? Where is it going to be for world domination?
Absolutely. So, in terms of volumes, as I said, we are not going after just volumes, and the clear mandate is only to go after profitable volumes. So that is one thing, and that's where we are looking at an AI. How can AI augment our pricing? One example I gave, but there are many different things. Like customer resolutions to pricing, to billing, to reconciliations, to operations. I can keep talking about. How can we use AI to augment our profitability in many different ways? It's an operation savvy. So even on the operation side of things, like, even if we save like 2 seconds in moving a package, that's a lot of savings for us. Even if we can make 1 cent extra per package, we move 26, just to give a perspective, we within US, we move 26 million small packages every day. So
Wow.
so that's the kind of scale. So even that 1 cent otherwise could look insignificant, but for us in day to day, it's significant.
Right.
Yeah,
So even a cent per package is just massive volumes of
massive.
money. And that's just in the US and you're
There's
worldwide.
just US small
I
package.
didn't know that you own airplanes and
Oh yeah, 300 of
airports.
them, jumbo
My
jets.
goodness. So tell us what that life is like. Do you get to fly in those?
No, 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 no. I mean, these are cargo airplanes.
Cargo.
These are cargo.
All right. So tell us about a book you've read or a person who's inspired you. What should the audience take away as a point where they be like, I listen to Sunzay speak, I have to listen to this podcast. So what's that one compelling thing that changed the trajectory of who you are?
I mean, one thing which, so a lot of people have inspired me, right? Starting from Steve Jobs. I think I always consider him as a role model, being in product and innovation for last 25 years. This
Yeah.
guy actually brought original thinking and, that entire end-to-end value proposition, not just kind of doing one thing at a time, kind of thinking through a big picture. So he has been there. And of course, of late, many of this AI, Sam Altmans to Elon
Yeah.
Musk to Arvind Srinivasan, even for that matter, Perplexity guy. Uh, Couple of things I'd like to say is AI is here to stay, and I've seen this journey in last 25, 30 years. Like when you started, like I was a telecom guy, we saw
Yeah.
this mobility, and we started talking about mobility first and mobile first strategies. Today, it's like not negotiable.
Yeah.
It has to be there. Like similarly, AI is gonna be in your DNA, in your blood, in some way or other. So it's not going to be different from what you're doing in your day to day. So embrace it the way you can, and like you were talking about, start a new company
Yeah.
every year. Probably, if a lot of us can do that, I'll be inspired by that.
Yeah.
So embrace it, learn it, and one important thing, which led to some of my successes was there is no failure actually. You only fail at the time you give it up, especially when you're dealing with technology. Like one of my CEOs in Vodafone, actually, when I was working there, he said, hey, whenever I give you a complex problem, you figure out what is your secret of kind of delivering it back to me. I said,
Yeah.
sir, I do one thing. I commit first to you that I will do it, then figure out how to do it. I take my time to figure out how to do it, because I know when it's technology, have you tried all your options or not? Sometimes we give it up too early. I mean,
I love that. There's no such thing as failure, right? It's all just learning lessons. Any audience questions? Yes. Oh, can you go first? Yeah.
Before you were talking about some use cases for AI, right? Do you have in production any agents that actually take decisions and complete actions, especially when it comes to external relationship with customers? And in that case, how do you manage security, especially in
How do
couple
you
of
manage security in specific agentic tasks and
yeah, when they
actions?
take decision when they talk with external clients rather than internally in the
I
company?
mean, most of our agentic deployment today is more augmenting humans. Like, there is a human in the loop. But
Right.
one use case I can think of where we probably used agentic AI to take decisions is low risk is like refunds to our retail customers. So if you have shipped a packet worth $10-15, and then probably you are claiming for something, agentic AI will figure out, what happened, why it has happened, and then maybe refund you $15 back or $20 back. So on the small risk use cases, there is a end-to-end decision making happening. But in the larger ones, which I spoke about, of course, no way we can live, multi-million or billions of dollars of contract just to agents today and let them run it.
And yes, Ranjit has a question here.
Sunjay, my question, you are driving a lot of innovation on AI and UPS. My question to you is especially, are you guys innovating on physical AI? Can we expect bots and robots delivering our packages?
A lot. And okay, let me try to share this.
So the question is, can we expect physical bots to take over delivering our packages, like the last mile problem?
So as we speak, we are experimenting with humanoids as well in our warehouses, but that's at an experimentation stage. Some of the critical things could be taken over sooner by bots or by drones, like life-saving drugs, for instance. That is something we have been, like drones again, like we are one of those pioneers and leaders in using drones for delivery from point A to point. That will take sooner than like delivering your girlfriend's gift to your doorstep will come much later on. So we'll figure that out.
And yes.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of the idea of the United States Postal Service only delivering paper, meaning letters, magazines, and books, and farming out the other services in something that we would call nationalization to Amazon or you or someone else?
I didn't get it.
What do you think of the United States Postal Service taking over just your mail and letting UPS handle UPS and FedEx, all parcels being handled by the others?
So, let me share this interesting thing with you. USPS and UPS are competitors as well as partners as well.
Yeah.
Now, we specialize, and this is very specific information, but I can share here. Our specialization is more than 10 pounds, moving more than 10 pounds packages. Anything below 10 pounds, USPS, we partner with them to actually, they can move those packs. Especially you talked about letters and all those packages. I mean, they do a better job. I wouldn't say they do a better job in terms of logistics management, but in terms of cost structure, they have got a better cost structure than us to manage that. And that is one of the reasons, like, we offload a lot of our last mile, especially the last mile business, to USPS. So we are competitors as well as we are partners both.
I have a question for you. I recently had to return something to, I think, one of the department stores, but it gave me the option to do happy returns. And what I was really impressed with was why I could choose UPS. I went in there and I didn't even need to bring my package.
Correct.
They just scanned the product.
Yeah.
So what I experienced was UPS was part of that business organization. And that was how I felt. Can you explain a little bit more that strategy and where are you guys going to go further? How can you be expanding that kind of strategy? That was really effective.
There's a one-word answer for me. It's Happy Returns is our company, by the way. So we own that company.
You do? Okay.
Yeah.
There it is.
We acquired that company, and that's pretty much integrated into our complete logistic network. So most of the returns are being handled through Happy Returns front end. And something which you spoke about, I didn't have to bring a box. We started this service called NBNL, no box, no label. So if you've got a return, just get your QR code, walk into any of these return points, show it, and they will box it for you. They will label it for you. So,
it's really convenient. Last question, Neville. Sorry, he raised before.
So I work at AMD with an internal facing product team. My question to you is, how do you measure adoption of AI usage by the employees? Is it that they are like just forced to use whatever AI innovations are done in the workflow, or do they have the choice of using it in the AI cars? And the second question, and you can quickly answer, what is the one killer AI use case in your company that you'd like to see being worked out?
So how do you measure employee adoption of AI? And what's one killer use case of AI within UPS?
First question, it's pretty early at this stage in terms of adoption. Like we have our own metrics of trying to see, like specifically, I spoke about a case like pricing. How many of our pricing analysts are using some of those agents or some of those cool capabilities we have built around data analytics versus how many of them are actually going to old school, old tools, etc. So that is one measure, but still we are kind of establishing those. And this is in each of those departments which we are rolling out some of these AI features. In terms of killer use case, pricing. While we have made a huge success today, but pricing is far too complex in logistics industry. And I see next 5 years, if I have to just run after one most significant use case, it would be essentially rating and pricing.
Pricing. Thank you so much, Sunzay. Big round of applause.
Thank you.
I'm really grateful.
Thanks for having me here.
Yeah.
And thanks you guys for listening.
I just love talking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.